If I could tell people anything about narcissistic abuse, it would be this. You don't deserve it. For whatever reason that you put up with it, or you think you can't leave, or you think you're not strong enough, you are. Because nothing's as hard as living with that. When they question your memories, or they twist them, or they tell you you're crazy, or insecure, or too dependent, nobody deserves that. I did everything. I did the cooking, the cleaning, the work. I worked full time, and it was never enough. And I think at the end of the day, it boiled down to I just was never enough. We could never go out in public where he wasn't looking at somebody else, talking to somebody else. I went to one of his reunions with him, and he spent probably an hour talking to this lady he went to school with. I didn't even get so much as an acknowledgement, but I put up with it. And that's the thing. That's the realization you have to come to is why did I allow it? Why did I allow it? Why did I think I didn't deserve better than that? And I think it's because I grew up with it. I look back and there's so many relationships in my life that have been like this. I was always treated like I was pretty much invisible. And I was quite happy to blend into the background. I just did what I was supposed to do, supported the people I was supposed to support, made everybody's life easier, and lost myself in the process. To the point where when I moved out, I had no idea who I was. I had no idea what I liked. I had no idea what to do with myself. I was so used to having not one spare moment to myself that I had no idea what to do. And I'm still figuring it out. But I've done a lot of work on myself because I had to set boundaries. And when I left, I didn't even occur to me to get into a relationship of any kind. I had no desire to. I was actually terrified of it because what's to stop me from going right back into another one of those? And I was not going to do that. So I've done a lot of healing and figured out what I deserve and what I do not deserve, what I will allow and what I will not allow. But I think really what I want to say is it takes that first step of getting out. That's the first step. And it's terrifying, especially when you've been in this relationship for, a long period of time and you don't know how to live differently. For me, I've been through so many challenges with cancer twice, and blood pressure, and hospital stays where I could have checked out, literally. And it just got to the point where I had to say enough is enough and I choose me. And that's the moment that you just decide that you're worthy of more. It's the moment when you decide whether you want to live or not. And I wanted to live. I fought too hard at that point to give up. And giving up actually never occurred to me. I'm not stronger than anybody else. I was terrified to leave, but at the same time, I was kind of excited to think what what could be better, right? What what can I have to look forward to? And I hadn't looked forward to anything in a very long time. And the more I found out about narcissistic personalities, the more I realized that the whole thing was a lie. And I think that was the hardest realization of all, because this was a relationship I poured myself into. I gave everything, 100%, more than that. And it was all a lie. It was never real. There was always ex-girlfriends in the background he was talking to, and I knew about it. And I just chose to look the other direction because it was easier than facing the facts. And there was always sketchy stuff going on in the background. And I would call him on it, occasionally. And then you just get lied to, and it's a decision of, do I stay or do I go? And then it was always easier to stay, so I just stayed and worked harder and tried to be better and tried to make the changes that I always seemed to have to make and gave myself up in the process. So I think I would just tell people that really look at your life and decide what you think you deserve. Because staying might be an easier option in your head, but when you really think about the stress that it takes to stay, it's not an easier option. I come home now and there is nobody screaming at me. My blood pressure is not going through the roof, and I can do what I want. If I want to just sit on the couch all day on a Saturday, I can totally do that, and no one complains about it. No one sits there and looks at me and go, "We need to do this, we need to do that," which always meant me. It was we was never we, it was always me. And I don't miss it. There is nothing about that relationship that I miss. And how sad is that? How sad is that? I don't miss seeing him. I don't miss talking to him. I don't miss being in that house. I don't miss any of it because I could never relax, ever. So I think I would just want people to know that there's better out there. And sometimes that better is just yourself. And it's not as scary as it sounds.